car was definitely on the sideways. Great job of driving by a very talented young driver.
Welcome back to Race Life. I am very excited to bring you all this new episode and give you a behind-the-scenes look at our first 3 races of the year. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Justin Hutto. I've been racing in the NHRA for the past 11 years, and I'm currently racing in both Competition Eliminator and Stock Eliminator on the NHRA Tour. My end goal is to race in top fuel, so not only am I working to become the best driver that I can be, but I'm also working to become the best marketing tool for sponsors that I can be. And in this episode, you'll see me work to do just that. So let's get right into it.
At 191, good pass right there for Maris. Hutto coast across at a 12.16. Dick's going to go to the... Here Tim Ames rolling through the gears in the Mopar. Justin Hutto going to stop the clocks. 10:04, 131 miles an hour. 10:8. And Hutto with problems again. And Keith Mahi's off the throttle by 300 feet. Coasting on out the top end, 10-12, 91 miles an hour. Justin Hutto, 11.64. Big block 427 car. And Justin turns it red.
So as you saw in the videos, courtesy of Drag Racer TV, we made some pretty good runs to start the weekend off with the Corvette in stock. But with the Dragster and comp, things were not as smooth. So even before first round of qualifying, we had to fight with the Dragster a little bit. So on Thursday during testing, we had a starter issue. So we had to come back here to our shop in Houston to grab a replacement starter so we can make Friday's runs. Then as you saw in the videos, on Friday, we had another issue with the transmission. So we ended up having to take it out, and thanks to one of my local supporters, Motor Mike, who worked on it through the night, we were able to continue on through Saturday and Sunday. But there is something worth noting here. This was our first outing with the 3-speed, so naturally it's going to be a learning curve. It's not easy to make one of these comp cars just go fast. To add to all the excitement, I also had one of the most involved sponsorships I've had so far, with 10 different State Farm agencies from across the city. We also had the University of Houston at the track on Thursday for a photo and video shoot of me for one of their magazines. You can imagine coming into this race with all that was going on, how much preparation went into making all of this work. But this was definitely one of those situations where you get to work, not have to work, because this deal was the definition of favor. And it's thanks to one of my mentors and some influential people that I was able to have a successful pitch meeting with owners of State Farm agencies from across Houston. We ended up with a 2-race deal for both the Divisional and Spring Nationals at Houston Raceway, where my team and I offered first-class hospitality and executed on some marketing initiatives to generate leads for these agents. Although the process was stressful in the moment, I still love this part of our sport. I truly believe that sportsman drag racing can provide valuable marketing opportunities to State Farm and other Fortune 500 companies across the world, especially when you go to a race like Denver where you're still attracting thousands of fans at a divisional. With my end goal being to race in top fuel, it's absolutely necessary for me to offer and sell these partnerships now so that I can grow my family of marketing partners to a point that I can financially make the jump to top alcohol dragster and then to top fuel. That's why I work the way I do to create partnerships now. It's all about the end game.
Justin Hutto, 009 at the tree. Goes 9.98, his first 9-second pass of the weekend, 1:32. Hutto's going to get down the racetrack this time. He goes 703 at 188. Side by side, wheels up launches. .998.5 for Justin Hutto. His last one was a 998.6. That's some consistency right there. Hutto turns it 008 red. They go 714 at 187. Ashton Hudson makes his best run of the weekend.
Day 2 of qualifying was much better, especially with the Dragster. We still hadn't been green with that car yet, so the game plan was for me to react a little bit after I saw the bottom yellow. But with the Corvette, things were just clicking. The car was super consistent, and I'd already reset my front tire pressure a little bit to get my reaction times to that high double-O to teen range where I like them. And after first round, it was hard not to feel confident.
Big block 69 Corvette, AA stock automatic machine. He's dialed 10 flat. Tell you what, Justin Hutto doing his best George Washington impression, chopping down the tree, goes 008, and then goes dead on with a 4. A 12 thou package. Great lap for Justin. Tanksley out front at half track, top end. Win like Justin Hutto coming around him in the lights. Goes 695, 190 miles an hour. Joey Tanksley a little bit off pace.
So as you saw, first round of stock was pretty killer. And in comp, Mr. Joey gave it back to us. So I rolled in both cars, and I was absolutely pumped up to go to work in front of my sponsors in round 2.
Justin Hutto gonna have his work cut out for him at the top end because Jimmy Hidalgo Jr. was 008 at the tree. Wow, Justin Hutto 009 at the tree. Closing fast on the big end and give it to Keith Maughy. He goes 771 with a 9. Justin goes 694 at 190. Not quite enough by 0.02 of a second. Keith Maughy getting there first.
So in second round of stock, I had a tough round to win no matter what I did. But I was on the later side of where I set up to be, which is never a good thing against Cooter. And then I followed that up with another mistake and shifted way early going into third gear, looking at a shift light that wasn't set correctly on the race back. Despite the reason though, I made 2 mistakes against Cooter, and you just cannot do that with him. In comp, I let go of the button a little bit quicker, but we still didn't have enough for the eventual race winner, Keith Maughy. So with the wrap on Houston, we loaded up and headed to Dallas a couple of weeks later.
Again, good morning, everybody, and to those of us joining in on dragracer.tv. We are experiencing a bit of a moisture delay. Mother Nature rolled through with some heavy humidity. Right now, we're sitting at about 97%. I will say this, if you are tuning in at work on dragracer.tv, I would give you an hour and a half to be productive this morning before we get to sending cars down track. So, you know, Justin Hutto. Fun following along, keeping track of Justin as his adventures in both stock and comp eliminator get highlighted on competitionplus.com and Justin's own website. 21-year-old student out of Spring, Texas, there on the north side of Houston. Taking a big block Corvette down track. We'll see Justin a little bit later on in comp eliminator. 10 flat, 132 by Justin. Rampy, let's see if he wants to be number 1. 726 and 166 by Rambo, 696 for Justin Hutto. 4 cars, Mopar cars. Justin Hutto's LA stock automatic Corvette. Hang on, Justin. 10:08 at 131 by Justin, so he slows up 0.08 of a second. Whoa! Hang on, Justin. 8:59 at 152 miles an hour for John Stock. 8:42 by Justin. That car was definitely on the sideways. Great job of driving by a very talented young driver.
To kick things off in Dallas, I made a pretty good run with the Corvette in Q1, then came back with it in Q2 and got it a little bit out of the groove. And with the Dragster, I also made a pretty good lap for the first qualifier. And going into the second, we made a small adjustment to the reaction time with the trans brake button and as well as shift timers. But as you can see, all of that went out of the window once I got loose. That one shook me up pretty good, but it was an important learning experience on driving that car.
Bogus on a 1455 dial, Justin Hutto in his Corvette. That AA stock automatic, big block, gonna wait with a 995 dial. There goes Billy. Here comes Justin. Front end up and down on the Corvette. A little bit more controlled this morning. Justin trying to reel him in. Needs all 1,320 feet and cannot get there. 1455 on a 1455 dial by Billy. Good for the win. 10:06 by Justin. Tough battle on his hands here with Rambo. Rambo's going to go first. Justin comes second. A little bit of a pedal job out there, and that's all it takes for Rambo. 7.
On that lick, we had an air shifter issue, so the car shifted into second gear way late. And I was supposed to be ready to manually shift it in case that happened, but obviously I didn't execute there. So after the show I put on Friday morning, I was very excited that this was a doubleheader race so I could redeem myself. So after race 1 was finished Friday evening, NHRA gave Comp Eliminator 1 qualifying shot for race 2. And unfortunately, in that run, we spun the tires, so we did not make the show for race number 2, which ended our Comp Eliminator weekend. So marching forward, we shifted focus to stock.
On the big end. Oh no. Well, racers, listen up. We're on hold. We got some raindrops at the top end of the racetrack, so we're going to back them up and see what Mother Nature's going to give us.
So just know you hold the numbers. You're running this 8-stick car. Top 5, 1020. So you'll be coming up on it. Now with him, it's a stick car, so he'll be faster than the back end.
See what he does here. Handicap start by a skosh, a 1020 for Lynn, a 1011 for Justin. Looks like he stuck that time. Oh man. Oh man, what a race. 5 thou difference out of the gate. Justin Hutto gets the win. 1017 at 128. 1026 by Lynn at 131.
Round 1 was a great race against a great racer. And thanks to my dad's advice, I had an idea of what the race should look like before we went up. By the 3:30, I was already ahead by quite a bit, and usually that means I'd be whopping the throttle all the way down the track. But keeping my dad's advice in mind, I let the race play out, and lo and behold, Engel started pulling on me toward the top end. So after a few rips, I closed it up way tighter than I should have at 001. But hey, we got the win light, and I learned a new look that I'd never seen before on track.
For the 21-year-old youngster out of Spring. So he'll cruise on into the next round of elimination. I do believe Justin gets to come back and race Slate in the next round. 10:06 at 132 by Hutto.
Corvette's a pair on the starting line right now. Left side, that's Slate Cummings. His 2000 Corvette for the Bayou Boys out of Ponchatoula, Louisiana. He's got a 1033 on it. Taking on Justin Hutto, the young man out of Spring, Texas. His 69 Corvette, AA stock automatic. Red light start for Slate Cummings. That means Justin Hutto. He'll be your winner. Hutto, 10:04 on his 10:08. He was right there on the tree, 0:17 on the tree. Justin, your winner. Slate Cummings leaves 0:14 too early, 12:61. Coasting across down there at 81 miles.
In round 3, we were still a few hundredths faster than we thought we should have been. So at this point, we're starting to lose faith in just dialing the car. Now, it's worth noting here that we fixed and found an issue that was causing this inconsistency later in the year. But in this moment, all I knew was that I had Greg Stanfield in round 4. So I did a quick study on him between rounds and noticed that he seemed to be holding quite a few numbers. So going into the next one, I decided to err to the side of holding numbers with them rather than dialing honest. So here we go. That round was nothing like I expected. Coming into it, I figured that I'd either be behind or that it'd be extremely close and I'd probably have to drop toward the top end. So when I saw I was getting there around 1,000 foot, it honestly surprised me. But when I saw that, I made the decision that I was going to take the stripe and make it close. We still, though, were quite a bit faster than we should have been for the changes in conditions. So going into the next round, I just about had no trust left. So with that in mind, here's how round 5 played out.
Will it be Parker DeVore? Will it be Justin Hutto? Here comes the Corvette trying to track him down. Parker DeVore, 11:74 at 1:04. Parker DeVore.
In that round, after getting out of the groove and womping quite a bit, I figured there was no way that I could go under the dowel in. Even after I got dropped, I figured that I was good, but y'all see how that turned out. So looking back at it, some great racers that I look up to, like Luke Bagacki, might say that I should have dialed way up and just paced Parker through the finish line in that situation. And looking back at it, maybe that's what I should have done. I wish I could have done better for my dad, but it's on to the next one at the Spring Nationals. For the sake of time, we're rolling straight into eliminations here at the Spring Nationals. And as you can see, the first round of the Spring Nats looked a whole lot like the 5th round of Dallas. But this time around, I decided there was no way I was taking too much stripe. So instead, I gave it back 006. But outside of race results, we still gave our State Farm partner agencies a great hospitality experience. So I'm hoping and working to extend that partnership in 2020 so we can get them in the winner's circle with us next season. But for now, I'll leave you with these 4 lessons to put a wrap on this episode. So first, it's often about who you know before it's about what you know. So for example, with the State Farm agency deal, although I did lean on my experiences to come up with the concepts for the partnership, it still required the right network to even get the chance to offer those concepts. Second, you've got to have a good team around you if you're doing anything for a sponsor during a race, whether that be in at-track activation or hospitality in the pits. Otherwise, you can find yourself spread way thin and not focused on the task at hand. Third, don't start driving from behind trying to be 00, take 00 when you're down close to honest with the big spot. For me at least, it's just hard to judge that way. And finally, fourth, you've got to stay in faith if you've got any type of goal that you're working toward. So here's a super basic example of this working for me in the context of this episode. So if I would have given up on my Top Fuel dream, I would have never had the conversation that led to my State Farm deal. So I was trying to figure out how to close a sponsorship deal completely unrelated to State Farm. And when I asked a mentor about that, that sparked the conversation which led to the State Farm sponsorship. If I would have stopped trying to figure it out, that conversation would have never happened. You really never know what's on the other side of you just not giving up. For me, it's been faith, prayer, work, and great people that have gotten me to where I am so far. And I have no plans of stopping now. My journey to Top Fuel continues, and I hope your journey continues as well. Till next time. All right guys, so this video also doubled as a class project for my entrepreneurship class at the University of Houston. So I'm also gonna bring out my class group, AKA the production crew. So Professor Ortega, here you go.